All right, we're back. I don't know where we went.
I don't know.
I am donning my WellDatabase shirt, the very first WellDatabase swag ever created with our phallic logo. I feel like it's a collector's item now.
I think it is. Yeah.
Do you even have yours?
Yeah, I still have one. Rachel
Yeah.
still has hers.
Yeah, I was telling Holly we made 6 of them, if you remember.
Was it only 6?
We literally made 6. It was one for you, Dwayne, and I, and all of our spouses. I don't know what we were thinking. Like, at the time, I remember thinking, it's like, oh, Holly will think this is cool. And she did, but in a very much like, good for you kind of way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I guess it's not cool.
Rachel wore hers, I think. A few times.
Just a few?
Just a few. I wore it. Mine's got, I think it became a garage shirt for the most part.
Mine too. I was just noticing you can't see it. This is pink paint from my daughter's room. Which she was born in 2010. So like we made these shirts early. Like I got paint from there. I've got white paint from the ceiling, I think. Anyway, I still keep it though.
Oh, they held up well. They're from like Vistaprint, I think.
Yeah, they were dirt cheap.
Right.
We weren't
Yeah.
gonna spend a lot of money on it. But yeah, I had been wearing, I noticed that on our last recording, 2 recordings ago, I was wearing our new WellDatabase shirts. And the last recording, I wasn't wearing a WellDatabase. Anyway, and you, of course, got your hat today, which I noticed you didn't have last time.
I didn't have one.
I don't know what's
I
wrong
usually
with you.
wear one.
Always wear a hat.
Yeah, right? I always wear a hat, and I had run out of them.
Big problem.
Big problem.
We also moved back into our studio here, which, whatever. It's a studio. It's a good time. All right, today we are talking about the next step. Last time I think we talked a little bit about like that backslide we took a little bit right as we were getting off the ground. So yeah, at that time, we had that backslide, and then so I was actually went back and did a little research. We were up at like 23K in revenue or something at the time, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And then that backslide took us down to right at 10, which that's a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
I mean, when you're trying to just pay yourself some salaries, it's like insane.
With a family?
Yeah, something like that. So anyway, we did that. But then I also was looking back that we would sign one of our first large enterprise customers literally like a month later.
Okay.
Or 2 months later, actually. But still, it was really cool because, we lost all that revenue, and then it seemed like we kind of stuck it through for a very short amount of time, and then it kind of came back. And so that leads us into today, where we were talking about the next step. When we got that first enterprise customer, I had moved to the Woodlands.
Right. Yep.
And you obviously were in the Woodlands, and I was really, really struggling with working from home. I really was. I mean, I had a dedicated office and everything, but my kids were homeschooled.
Right.
I have 5 of them, and so
It's a busy house.
Yeah,
To do work in.
constant.
Very constant.
And it's so hard because, like, my wife would be like, just ignore us, do your thing. But I can't. I hear some chaos, and I'm poking my head out.
What's going on out
Hey,
here?
you kids. Did one of you touch the thermostat? No, but seriously, I struggled with that. I've gotten better today, but there was a time where, and this is why I was like, I can't do this. I'm so bad at it. I am not getting work done normal hours, and I'm working all evening hours. And
Yeah, because you feel like you got to catch up.
Yeah.
But your house dynamics have changed too as everybody's gotten older,
Right.
probably. So it's made it easier.
Exactly.
So.
No, it is, and I've got a kind of settled into a really cool routine for me today, which we can talk about that later. But at the time, though, like I couldn't do it. I was not effective, and I was not happy with it because I felt like I was not doing anything good.
Always trying to play catch up, right?
Like everything, I was not being present with my family. I was not getting everything done I wanted to, and so anyway, we decided to get an office.
We did.
You remember where it's at?
Yeah.
Across the street.
Across the street from where we are right now. Yeah.
It's not that complicated.
We just
to
walked through the
remember.
parking lot actually on the way to lunch.
We did. But this place is a lot nicer than that one is.
Yes, I do like
that was the second floor office in a Regis building.
Regis building, yeah.
Which is fine. Whatever. It's funny how it's come full circle now, because back then Regis felt like, how you got off the ground, and later on WeWork would come around, and the place where we are now, the Lucid offices, and so honestly, like you kind of expect this from most companies unless you're like big corporate.
Right,
and
right.
big office.
Yep.
And even then, I'm not the fan of offices.
Yep.
Which is weird because at the time I thought it was a big deal
What's a
to
big
have
deal?
a physical presence.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a stepping stone.
Still feel that way, right?
I've devalued it a little bit. I think what it is like you put these things in your head about what success means, and they're wrapped around a lot of superficial things because like the success on LinkedIn, no one's like posting their P&L and saying we hit 2 million in revenue with a 40% profit margin because that's business success.
Right.
Instead, it's like we hired 4 more people. And you're like, oh, well, I mean, nice. Maybe your revenue per employee, that'd be another good metric. People show off their offices. Gosh, I was in one of our customers' offices 2 days ago. Not a big customer. And they got to spend $1 bajillion on that stupid office. It is so nice. And I'm not kidding, there were 4 people in it.
That's pretty nice.
No, I mean, the office was giant for like 50.
I see.
Everyone's remote, and it was fine.
Everyone's remote, yeah.
But like,
But you have a place for people to go, if
line
everybody
item,
needs to come
though.
in.
But it can't be that big. Like,
That's fair.
Anyway.
I felt like after COVID, that's where things were going to go. Is everybody's going to kind of have a space people could go and stick remote, but obviously that's started to turn now.
It really did.
So,
yeah. How do you feel about that now?
Which part?
About the return to office stuff?
I mean, it doesn't really impact me. I feel bad for a lot of people that made choices where they had moved far away and now they're getting called back in the office. Because I've known a few people that are now going to have to move. Have you ever felt inclined
that we should call back to office or not really?
Sure, you got to move back from Montana.
I'll just make a Montana office. That's fine. No.
Is that the solution?
Yeah, no doubt.
No, we did it well before then. I mean, for a long time,
right.
And so it just never really,
changed.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing really changed. And so anyway, we formed the company that way.
So tell me, we got this office, and first off, do you remember moving into that office?
I do.
Yeah.
I remember we were so excited, and so we go unload the car. We're unloading all these, monitors, these Mac monitors. We load it up on that, on the cart, and we're just walking. I remember us just so happy, and we get like 5 feet, and one of those real nice Mac monitors bounces, flips up, and lands face down and shattered the screen.
Right. That was exciting.
We were flying high.
I know. And, I don't feel like it really knocked us out that much. I felt like we were like, I guess we got to fix that.
It was just... Yeah, you're right. It didn't. I don't think anything could knock us down there, but it was I don't really know. It was just kind of a funny moment in such a, like you said, at the time, it was a very big moment for us. Mm-hmm. And then not 5 feet in, it was like we skinned our knee.
Right. No, it was like, oh, we're doing good. Oops. Maybe. No, it was one of the Mac monitors back before they went absolutely batshit crazy.
Right.
They were just crazy. I think those monitors were like $1,000 each.
Right.
Which I might point out are still sitting in our office right now. If you can get the second one to come on, but one of them still works.
One of them still works great. Yeah.
And I had acquired those like over time, like little by little, and so I just brought them all in. But we did order a replacement screen from like iFixit or whatever, and the suction cups.
It was fixed pretty quick. It was easy.
It was
no big deal in the end.
It was fun though.
But I remember it was like and then all right, let's just go move into this office.
Yep. So here's a question for you. At the time, did you have the same struggles that I did working from home, or was that more of like a me thing?
No, not nearly as much. Let's see, where was I at the time? So at the time, I was in my other house. Mm-hmm. I was already working consulting. That office in that house was I had a tree house, so it was on like the front. In the front, and it was on the mid level. So the kids were kind of upstairs or downstairs. They couldn't get there directly because we had gates, and so it was pretty isolated.
And your home was a little quieter during the day back then.
And it was quieter during the day, right? So I didn't have 5 kids running around.
Yeah.
So, big difference, yeah.
Right. And so anyway, it made a big difference to me. But then I did notice like we do really good in the office like after the first couple of days. Like the first couple of days we're talking the whole time.
Right.
And then after we settle in things, we both put headphones on and we just kind of...
Yeah, there was the newness, right? Yeah.
And so that, again, the first couple of days I was like, did we make a mistake?
There was a lot of water cooler talk sitting at the tables,
by
the desk. And I mean, it was good though, because we had been apart.
Right.
And
We missed each other. We didn't need to hold hands.
That's right. It's like the first day of school, the first week of school. I feel for teachers, right? I think it's a lot of the same.
Yeah. No, that's valid. That's very valid. I did like that office, though. It was a good office. It was a nice kind of stepping stone. Actually, I remember taking a number of client meetings there over that year.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, we had the little conference rooms that we would go into. Yeah,
yep, right nearby. And it, again, I think that office might have cost us $400 a month.
Yeah, it was a great deal.
At Regis, so it was not bad. Small office, 10 by 12 or something like that. It had a window, and so that's cool. We weren't in a closet.
We weren't on a closet.
Because that was an option if you remember.
I do remember them showing us the closet.
I think it was $2-something for a closet.
For a closet, like a literal, we thought it was a broom closet. Yeah. And it could fit one desk.
It was like they were walking through, they're like, maybe you could go in here. Like, we'll take all this junk out. And
it's like, I'm not going back in there. We already did this.
Well, and then I felt like it was going to be like Milton from Office Space. You're like, we're going to need you to move your desk back further. We got to get more of these boxes in here.
It's a little maze to get to your desk.
Yeah. No, but it was cool. Because again, all this was not that long. Like, I quit in I don't know, the very beginning of 2015.
Right.
And we were in that office by summer.
Of
2015.
Yeah.
And so in that time, I'd moved from where I was in Summerwood to the Woodlands. We'd got that office. We had lost everyone and then started building back. It's kind of a whirlwind 6 months there.
It was a very whirlwind. So it was, for 6 months. Okay.
Yep. It was pretty quick.
Yeah. I thought the timeline was a little different, but that sounds
well. And so the build back, it's not like we built it back overnight. Again, because like you and I were supplementing our income with consulting work.
Right.
And so I had no more consulting work to do. That dried up for me completely. You still did some, but still it would be the rest of that year and then some before we got to where we could stop the consulting.
Yeah. That was a big change. But that office, I feel like when we got in there, we got even more focused though.
I agree.
Like, I remember because we had all of our tasks up and we were ready to knock them all out.
Yeah, I agree. I think we did really well in that office, and it showed because, again, we had 3 desks in that 10 by 12 office, and Dwayne didn't come in but a couple of days a week.
Right.
And you and I, honestly, at the time, I think we were both there 5 days a week. Really?
Yeah, it sounds right.
We were just coming in every day because we could.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was exciting. Again, we never had any kind of hockey stick, any growth, any user growth. Like, everything's been steady for us.
Steady.
I mean, to this day, it has still been slow and steady, which, we'll touch on later some of the times where people have their ups and downs, and ours has been, it's not crazy up all the time, but it's always up.
Right.
Anyway, so that office was cool. And then the product at the time, I think we were just settling in to more of the production analytics was like everything for us.
It was, yeah.
At the time. Doing type curves, doing cum plots, and honestly, that was probably it. Type curves, cum, rate plots, and then we might time rate, and then have we added decline curve analysis yet? That was okay.
Yeah, that came later.
Which is an interesting thing because I get on the phone with people still to this day, and we talk about some of these things, and so it doesn't happen much. But every now and then they'll be like, "Oh, okay, were you a reservoir engineer?" And I'm like, "Nope." It's like I
can read books though.
Right. Well, that's just it. Like, I don't want to be, and it's hard though. That's a tough line to draw when you're like, I'm a programmer. I just learned what you do, and then implement it in software. It doesn't mean I'm going to do it for a living or that
right.
I understand every nuance of it, but still we get the gist and we can build the tools, and then you take the tools and run with them.
Yeah,
right. So we're not saying we can do it.
Right.
We can just build the tools for it.
Tools.
But anyway, it's an interesting industry because almost all the software out there was built by engineers.
Right. We turned it on its head, right?
Right.
Because we were not that way.
And so it's still a foreign concept to a lot of people, but I don't think it's backfired on me at all, really. But sometimes I do wonder if people are like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. How do they build this software if he's not an engineer? You're like, software engineer.
Anyway. Right.
So, but yeah, I think it was slow and steady at that time, and we were able to execute on a lot of new things, but still around kind of evolving our map, evolving our analytics, kind of bolstering our exporting capabilities, which...
Yeah, that's where we started to add more exporting formats and things like that, bigger integrations.
Yeah.
feel like that's where we started to expand the API a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
Because originally it had focused on like the mobile front end stuff, and then we started to split into the more data types, and we started exposing all those through the exports and whatnot around then.
When did we release our mobile apps? I feel like that was like 2012.
Yeah, it was like 2012.
2013.
Yeah,
So,
they were there at the very beginning.
yeah, they were rolling. I think we just did it because it was fun to do mobile.
Well, we both
development at the time.
had experience with mobile right around then, so it was fairly easy to do the basic interface. And you touched on it last time about all the dynamicness we had on the well
Right.
details, and all of that flowed straight through into the mobile apps.
Made
and
that
so,
easy.
yeah, and they lasted. I mean, they're still there. They've been
Yeah,
minor updates, but the dynamic parts.
Right. No, ours is the
Made it
iOS app's still in Objective-C, and that's been long gone. Well, not long gone. You can still use it, obviously, but Swift obviously took over. So it was kind of an interesting time. We clawed back some new revenue. We grew a little bit, so much so that when the time came around to renew our lease in 2016, we decided that we would go to a more posh spot.
Yeah,
That was fun.
a different Regis spot.
A different Regis, but it was in Market Street in the
Market Street,
Woodlands,
yes.
and we had a window that looked over the
The little green area.
green area.
What do they call it? City Park?
Yeah, and then I don't know, Market Street.
Market Street? Yeah,
Market
I thought they had a name for it, but where the Christmas tree is.
Yeah, which was fun. My kids really liked that too. They would come up to the office like, people don't know this. Like they have a pumpkin patch out there in October.
Yeah,
And you just walk up and take a pumpkin.
that was where my my oldest daughter got her first pumpkin.
Yeah.
She came up to visit and walked out there, and I have this little picture of her grabbing her pumpkin.
That's awesome. I have pictures of my daughter by the Christmas tree over there. And then like the concerts they'd have, like you'd inevitably work a little late and you'd see the concert, kind of get to hear the concert going. And then the food trucks would pull up. And so it was a cool spot.
It was a cool spot. Yeah, actually, we were just talking about it at lunch. Like, it'd be a cool spot still.
Like we'd like to go back over there.
Yeah. It's nice because all the restaurants are walkable and all that kind of stuff. We're not far, but we are not right there.
But that felt like another iteration, the office world was interesting that way.
Do you remember, you mentioned the window.
We got in trouble. I wouldn't say it was trouble, but
Our guerrilla tactics.
yeah. Did you have it printed or did I?
I think I had it printed.
Okay.
Because we got that one and we got one for the one inside.
The
too.
door.
The
Yeah,
door, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Josh went and had a just a decal printed, a transparent decal in reverse printed. And so Market Street, if you've ever been to the Woodlands, like there's a big park and all these events happen there. And so you have just tons of people flowing in and out. And honestly, the Woodlands still to this day is really heavy in oil and gas related people. I mean, Anadarko Towers, which are now something else, but still, I mean, there was a huge contingent of our people. And we're like, well, why don't we just like stick this decal in the window and everybody can see it? And anyway, so we didn't ask for permission and kind of just did it.
Yeah.
And it lasted a few months.
Yeah, it did. It was great.
But it was taken down very unceremoniously. We just came in one morning and it was down. And I did go ask the manager. And he was like, yeah, I looked up and saw it last night. And I was like, they can't do that. And then went up there and took it down.
Yeah, it looked like he took it down very grumpy.
Yeah.
Because he it just ripped it. The blinds were kind of like
Right.
a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it was just set like right below it.
I know. Anyway, it was free advertising for a couple months.
Yeah, it was great.
Why
I mean,
not?
yeah. Cost like, I don't know, $50. So I can't complain for a few months.
So that was a cool office space. But again, like, I hate to be, I don't know. I think over time I've changed away my kind of perception of the success of business had looked. And so having an office was a big deal. Having an office in like a hip area was even a bigger deal to me. It just felt like we were upgrading and
Stepping
upgrading.
up,
And at the end of the day, it's funny because you look back at that and it's like, that's not really that meaningful.
No.
It's looks versus reality. So
That's right. It didn't change the business much
or at all.
or at all.
No.
Well, yeah.
We did eat at Stadia a lot though.
We did eat at
Stadia
Stadia
Grill.
That became and it's not there anymore.
Nope.
And I still miss that buffalo chicken sandwich.
That's funny. So product wise though, we're still, I'm trying to think if we have any significant movement at this time because I feel like we jumped out on the production analytics and then like we had a lot of fill-in to do.
So yeah, from my memory, that's when we started expanding statewide and deeper into other data. Because remember, we had the Kanban board of all the states, and we all would go in and we would just pick one and go with it.
That is true. We did make a pass on data where we would say, let's get like all the headers rolling and production data, and then come back for more details.
Right.
And so that,
I feel like we did that pretty solid through those two offices. That was a really big focus, and that's actually where a lot of that code that runs that infrastructure changed a lot. That's where, I mean, because it was all these kind of, every bot was different.
right.
And we kind of got this framework in place that really made it so much faster for us to build out stuff.
That is true. Yeah, that did all happen at that time, because before they were all kind of running independently, and it was a little bit of a nightmare to manage.
Yeah, there were not any, the patterns had emerged, and so we kind of just took those patterns and ran with them and made it easy, so that it's like, 2 lines of code to add some stuff now.
You'd never liked the data side of pulling the stuff from the States, did you?
It was fun. It just got monotonous, I think, so like I had to step away.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't do it day in and day out, I guess.
Yeah. Dwayne hated it. I know that for a fact. Because he'd get in it and he'd find something else to jump on instead. And it's like, you got to go finish Michigan. He's like, I don't care about Michigan.
He's like, but I built this message system or something, right? And like, it'd make it easier. I'm like,
yeah, that's it. No,
a library for it.
Yeah, I know. Trust me.
We all get there. I mean, because like that's what I say, it's tedious. It can be,
Well, and this doesn't,
especially where we were. So.
Yeah, and I guess there's that aspect too that we didn't really ever touch about. We talked about building those back end systems for years in the beginning. It's scary to think about that was mostly permits and production.
Right.
And a lot of the other data points would come later.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember talking about directional surveys, and at this point, we did not have directional surveys in our platform. It's just...
other than the digital ones that were already...
Yeah, North Dakota and Colorado, maybe Wyoming, I can't remember.
Were we even pulling them then, though?
Yeah, we were always pulling them. Okay. We didn't have any kind of fancy viewers like we do now.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But... and we, of course, spacing wasn't on anyone's radar. Why, I don't know. It's like, who didn't think to take that in consideration day one? But you had this going on in the industry at that time. I feel like people were looking for the silver bullet because they expected to do these drills and just get the same results. I call it the PE method.
Yeah.
If one well makes 1 million barrels and 10 wells makes 10 million. But it just wasn't happening, and they were like, well, lateral length is all that matter. No, it's proppant, loading. No, it's frac stage design. No, it's spacing. It's always the next silver bullet. And it's anyone who's in the industry this day should know it's a combination of factors.
Combination of all of it, yeah.
But you're making decisions about things that are thousands of feet underground and thousands of feet away. And it's just, anyway.
Getting further and further away these days.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, that is interesting to note that we spent a lot of time on kind of those back end things and kind of filtering and bringing in additional data points.
Well, I think that's the analytics came in lightly, right? And then so more data holes and things became obvious. And we're like, oh, we can do more and more if we get these other points and all that stuff. So it all kind of built on each other. And so
it's an interesting thing that it happened that way, because I do remember that now, because so much of what we were doing was like the customer was like, oh, you have this? Well, what would it look like with this additional property? Or what does it look like here? And that's, I mean, it ended up being good on the data side, but it was chasing. We were chasing all the time, constantly trying to chase data points, features, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would, I mean, even the full-blown directional surveys, automated stuff, that's only, I guess, probably a few years old now that we've had that in place.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 or 4. It's getting by. Which I will say, I actually do believe we're the only ones that have that still.
That's crazy.
I think everybody else is shipping their stuff off to have hand digitized. And you can tell in their data because you're seeing things like, it's not one-to-one to the directional survey. A lot of times there's digitizing involved around the plats and the locations, and so you get your own measurements. And so anyway, you get some weirdness in there. So it's either they're sending it off for someone to do it, or they're copying someone else's data and altering it or something. Ours is...
So just change one and we'll
right, yeah. No one will notice. See, that's always been... that, and that's a big deal. Like, I think we were always keenly aware because, of course, we had been in other people's platforms over the years and things like that. And we're like, we can't have this anywhere near us. We can't ever be perceived to be using anyone else's data.
Right.
Even customers will be like, I'll send you so-and-so's data. And you're like, nope, please don't
Yeah.
send us that data.
I'm going to look at this.
Talk to us about it if you like, but we are not going to get that in our possession. So you'd be glad to know if you go to our surveys, they match the PDF document. That's just how we do it. So
yep. I didn't realize it had been that long.
Mm-hmm.
Time flies, you know?
Yeah.
Old man time, I think you told me.
Old man time. It's an interesting thing, though, because, I mean, and we're still talking about at this time, grabbing additional details from the standard state reports. We're not even talking about all that we do now after the fact. I do believe at the time, we may or may not have been aliasing yet.
I don't think we were aliasing yet. I think that
it got written around that time, though.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Maybe in the coming years.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It started with all the analytics, because the aliasing and tying it all together to make them meaningful, because otherwise it was just a crapshoot on state naming and all that kind of stuff. So we had to, right? And that all, again, came with when you got to see those charts in a large level, and you're like, I need to be able to see this across states where the names all of a sudden they have a period in one and not in the other, or something silly, you know?
No, that's right, because the groupings wouldn't work that way. And so, and of course, in database fashion, we had to automate it all. We weren't going to have this manual list of upkeep.
Right.
But yeah, that was a lot of that time, was filling in gaps, getting our data set more robust, which is funny because we actually have gone further down that path than even our major competitors have. Like, they stopped short of where we're at today on some of the more detailed data points with test data and with pressure and temperature data. And all of the casing size of well construction. I mean, they have a lot of pieces of those things, but they don't realize that, like, deep down in the documents, there's more data.
There's more data, yeah.
And we're taking it and so I think that attitude is something we've carried with us.
Yeah, and we want to get every piece we can. Even still, we find something new, you know.
Right.
We try to get it.
Yeah, and I think. I mean, I'm trying to remember what the last environmental data is, probably not that long ago.
Environmental data was, about a year or two ago.
And but still, it's just an ongoing thing. But that it makes this episode a little boring. Like, what do we do with WellDatabase? So we were working on data.
We were working on
all
data.
day, every day.
Nothing very visual. The groupings got better. Everything got cleaner.
Tough, though, because it's like you want to work on the front end and the back end at the same time. But when you decide you're going to get completions data, you can't just like get Texas completions data.
Right.
You got to get everyone. And so, like, we all had to hop in to try to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I think Frac Focus could have been around that time as well. Oh no, we probably already had Frac Focus. Never mind.
Yeah, probably.
Scratch that.
I think that one got cleaner though, because again we started doing the charts with frac ingredients and all that stuff. So all the cast numbers and pulling all that stuff out of the comments. And,
turns out it's garbage.
Yeah. I know.
Ooh, yeah.
All of the data got more robust around that time, just top to bottom.
Right.
I think.
No, and it's good. Like I said, it's an attitude we've taken with us along the way, because now we can firmly say our data is our foundation and everything's built on top of it. And I think that's just enabled us to do so much more. And honestly, this is by pure luck, really, but there's a sentiment right now around AI and model building that ownership of the data has bubbled to the top. I mean, and ChatGPT is really doing a lot of this because they're getting sued by everybody for using their data without asking. So anyway, it's becoming to the top of a lot of people, even in our industry, like, who owns the data? Right. And so we do.
We do, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. All these lawsuits are, it's going to be top of mind. I'm curious to see how it all shakes out, because I mean, it's a question across all of it, right?
Well, and there's been legal precedent around this, like the LinkedIn case at one point in time, and I don't know where that stands in all of this. You know, you put it out on the internet, and my understanding in the past has been, if you get out there and it's not behind a paywall and not behind, I mean, if anyone can get to it, then it's like public information, which you have to admit. I mean, honestly, like, if you see something with your eyes and then go write it down, like, is it yours or is it theirs?
That's the law. That's the case.
Exactly. Anyway, so we didn't mean for it to be so important, but it actually is. Like, I mean, because other companies have come and gone, and they have built upon other people's data
Mhm.
And when that other company is like, you know what, I think maybe I want to do that, and they pull the rug out from underneath them.
Yeah, this all stems from us. We built our platform so we wouldn't be dependent on any of the BI platforms pricing changes or anything like that. We didn't want to build. And same thing with the data. We had to have the data because we wanted to have it all in one. We don't want them to change their pricing structure or take over that part of the market, and then they're in
Yeah.
control of our pricing, and that never would work.
That's a great point. We did make that conscious decision that while the BI tools really, to this day, still can't perform on the web like ours do, that I know of. Do you know of any that can?
Well, no, because they're targeting different. All of them seem like they're targeting a smaller data set, right?
Right.
And so, I mean, even like Power BI 60,000 points, that kind of thing, and yeah.
So, yeah, we did have that conscious decision, though. Like, we can't be at the whim of our vendors for our business. Like, we can't build a house on top of that foundation. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if, though, again, I think it's long-term thinking, and it serves us well today. But at the time, it really kept us from going too fast. And
Yeah, with a smaller team, there was a
Yeah.
lot to do to get there. Now it's all fine, but
And at that time, I don't think we had, we had no one knocking on our door for capital, or I had one guy who reached out. I think I think our revenues had gotten up into the 700 range or something like that. And, one guy who wanted to invest a small amount, and it just
I
it
remember that
didn't-
now.
it's-
Yeah.
It seemed it didn't make a lot of sense, It's like, let's start with a $250K investment, and you're like,
Yeah.
I mean, if I do that and we bring people on, then I have to start raising the next round
Yeah.
immediately.
It's going to be spent.
You have like no runway.
Right.
But again, long-term thinking, I suppose. What else, business-wise, like, do you recall at that time, positive, negative, in between?
I remember being a real fun time, honestly. I mean, I had a lot going on in my life because I got married right before we got the office, or no, right after we got the office.
After we got the
After
office.
we got the office. So that was a good time, and then shortly later, I've got pregnant, so we were expecting our
That was back
daughter, and so that part was fun, and business time was fun. I mean, it was just a lot of work, but
Yeah. It was a lot of work. Isn't it weird how normalized we got to that? We were talking about this not that long ago, that we got so used to 16 hours being like a normal day, that if we only worked for 12, we'd be like, oh, I had a light day today. Heaven forbid you work for 8. So,
yeah.
and even today, though, I don't know about you, as far as like schedules are challenging, and I've gotten really, really old. But I tend to work I get up between 5 and 6, and I basically sit down and work nonstop until lunch at a minimum. And then, so I'm like 6 hours in before 6 or 7 hours in before lunch happens.
Yeah.
And then my afternoons can be a little more fluctuating.
Right. Yeah. I have it works for my lifestyle right now because I like to pick up the kids from school. I get to do that. So mine's broken up around taking them to school or riding bikes with them to school. Then I'll work, and then I'll basically work right up to going to get them or something, or
Right.
a little lunch. But
Yeah, it works out. And yeah, back then you're right. It was, everything was moving in the right direction. We were all kind of just going. You always had this. I go back to the perception at the time. I always felt like it was never enough. I felt like you saw other startups who were winning awards and raising capital. I let that bother me a lot.
yeah, that's true.
Did you?
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, I mean, I remember some of that. I mean, but it's not necessarily to compare yourself, but at the time we were, right?
Yeah.
We had other friends that were doing these other things, and it seemed like they were getting rounds of funding or exiting and stuff, and we were trying to compare ourselves to that. We're in different markets, totally different products, totally different everything, so it's not even fair to compare them. But, at the time, you're like...
Right. Well, and even in the industry, I think I again, just was new to it all, and I put a lot of stock in things, and then as you got, like, you'd see this thing, it looks so great on LinkedIn or whatnot, and then you go talk to them, like, one-on-one, and they would tell you how they're struggling.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, so LinkedIn is just like Instagram now. I got it. Okay.
It's the business Instagram.
Yeah.
Business Facebook.
It is. And and again, you
don't
don't
see
hear
the
people.
downs.
you don't hear people talking about the real stuff.
Right.
A lot of them are talking about the fake,
It's all the high points.
superficial garbage, things that actually don't mean you're a good business.
Right.
So anyway, that took me a long time it's so funny because like I'm not on social media much at all. And like, so I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, you can't, it's all fake. But then I'm on LinkedIn and thinking it's real. I'm like, how stupid is that? But
that's true. I don't know. Everybody kind of sees it now, but I think for a while there, most people were the same boat.
Right. They thought this was a professional thing.
Right.
And we are actually like, integrity was involved somewhere. And it's not. Yeah. So anyway, so I'll say that was the one thing that I felt like pressure that we weren't moving fast enough.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Well, I remember sending you charts and to that point and things. So that's when we started getting some, I guess, monitoring some of the metrics more around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Both revenue, user growth, all those things, and so we were comparing it to other places, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, what's going on?
Like Twitter.
Exactly.
It's like
broad.
Maybe not the same
Maybe
market.
not the same thing, yeah.
It's a software.
It's not a fair thing to compare it to. So it was never going to be that size, right?
Right. Exactly. So, but and it is hard though because our business model is more geared along this way. We have a freemium model. We have lots of more modern software aspects
right.
in an industry that's more niche, more B2B. And it's not that niche. It's pretty niche when you're talking about millions upon millions of users, but there are the total addressable market. There are companies in our industry that have had hundreds of thousands of users in their platform. So it's still it's a good size market, but it's just not Twitter.
It's just not Twitter. No,
or
it
Facebook.
will be. Or Facebook, right.
Which I read they had Instagram has 3 billion daily active users, monthly active users, and the Facebook group of companies has 3 billion daily active users. WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook.
That is a lot of users.
I remember a time when there was only 7 billion people in the world.
That is wild.
It is. So anyway, this was a fun time. And I think, we talked about on our last episode about we felt it pretty hard. We got kicked pretty hard right when we kind of everything fell all at once right around 2015. But I do feel like we responded really nicely with a lot of determination. And like we said in the last one, it was a problem solved.
Yeah, digging in. Yeah. And then this is the roller coaster part they talk about, right? We hit that bottom and then we're coming back up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, it's tough though. It's tough, especially with like, again, you're not... So you're comparing yourself to other companies. That's one thing. But you're also like hearing these salaries that are going out for the job that you do. And you're like, I am making pennies here. You own the company, but still you're making pennies compared to these people. And you're just like, golly, how am I passing up on so much money to do this?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, there's like the other part I remember from this time, and actually a little bit to the other part, there's not really a lot of people you can talk to besides like each other. Like friends don't quite understand, what you're doing or going through. And you seem crazy in a lot of the things you say about, it's like, oh, well, you lost all that. Well, why don't you just go get a real job?
Yeah.
And then this is why, because we came back up, right? We dug in, came back up, and it's all part of it. But
you were on an island though.
That's what I say. You're very isolated. That's it.
And especially in this industry at the time, I think we'll touch on in the next one, but that would change a little bit, not like a lot of it, but a little bit moving forward. But at the time, honestly, startups in this industry,
they were far between. Yeah,
and they were tool companies or they were management teams for exploration groups. They weren't software startups.
Yes.
So there were some, but like they were... I don't know. They were really niche tools or people who got rolled into Schlumberger real quick SLB now. but no, again, that kind of bounce back. I think that perspective made it more interesting for us to come back from because it really felt like we bottomed out, but then we built it all back up just through sheer grit and determination.
Yeah.
And so I think we can be pretty proud of that. So I've gotten in the habit of asking you towards the end of everyone, what would you do differently?
I think we did everything we could right there. I mean, we dug in as much as we could. We brought everything back up. We focused on, the data.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a whole lot we could have done differently.
Yeah, we come around to that sales and business development role that we should have had from the get-go for the network and all those things. But at this point in time, we're building networks. We are we're doing it the hard way. We're just walking up to random people, meeting, talking until they know who we are. And so yeah, had we had that, then I'm not sure anything would look the same. But again, when you were kicked and you're down, getting back up is 90% of the battle, and we did.
That's it. I was gonna say, it's not like we could have hired that position right then, and we were down at the beginning, right?
We couldn't have done anything.
That's exactly it. So I think we did everything we could to get back up, and we did. So that's the part to be proud of.
I do think this was the time that I did walk into Houston Ventures, and
I was wondering when that was. I was thinking about that. Was it right around that time?
I only pitched to 2 companies ever for investment, and Houston Ventures is one of them. And I very firmly remember they're like, so you guys are data. Okay, so you want to compete directly with Drilling Info? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, why? I was like, I told him why, our business case and all this stuff. And he was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And I was like, okay, you could have just said no. Anyway.
Didn't have to be rude.
Well, and they would go on to invest in Osberg, which was funny because...
Did they really?
Yeah, they did.
I might have known that. Yeah, I think you did tell me that.
I'm not sure it worked out great for him.
Don't know.
We'll leave it at that. All right, so no, this was an interesting time. This was a good time for us. It was enjoyable. It was a lot of work though, and then I think somehow less work than it had been before though, because around this time prior to this, I had already my wife and I had to come to a little bit of an agreement about how this was going to work.
Yeah.
Because I was putting in just a lot of time and I wasn't really present. And I wasn't really, the
office helped with that a lot. I mean,
it did.
Like you said, because it was a good breakup. When you getting into the office, we'd go work. And you go home. You have that breakup to close the laptop. It's really good for that.
It is. Yeah, and that was like 99% of what I needed from it. I mean, focused work when I'm there and focused home when I'm at home.
Yep.
And so I'm in a different place in my family and everything today, but I definitely recommend that to anyone getting started. Like, find whatever you need to do to delineate work and home.
Yeah, because it's easy to slip into just work.
Right. And
that's not healthy for anybody.
I had a quote I put on LinkedIn the other day. I said, it's never/always a good time to start a business. And I didn't think much about it because it's true. Like, honestly, there's no time that it's like, ooh, this is going to work great. Like, there's always sacrifices involved. But if you always wait for a good time, then it's never going to happen. So
yeah. There's always got something coming up. There's always something on the horizon that's keeping you from doing it, right?
Well, and then once you do start, I used to say this back when we did that, is that I'm always never working. And it's like I'm always working and I'm never working. I'm at home and I'm just pulled in different directions. And so, that delineation was super helpful for me. And so, and to that point, the only thing that I would do different is go smack myself and say, stop looking at LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's true. Stop comparing the other numbers, right? Yeah. On LinkedIn. That's true.
Stop even paying attention to it. I mean,
I did overstress on the metrics and stuff there for a bit.
Yeah. Well, and on one hand, you don't want to ignore them. I know that, but at the same time, like, you do nothing. You just don't know the real story.
Right.
I mean, if someone tells me they raised $100 million, I've seen people raise that amount or 50 million, and I knew those people, and I knew they were completely full of shit. And I watched it just fall apart. I've seen it happen. And so, like, you just can't look at that. You can't even think about it. If you want to go out and raise, cool. That's your job. You're going to raise, and you're going to live that life, raising round after round. And you can do it. People do it, and it's just no problem. I mean, it requires you to have a different strategy. Your job is raising, not building, and that was never going to work for me.
Yeah, none of us wanted to do that.
No, like, we want to build, and so again, but yes, by looking at other people, it just screwed my head more than I let it screw my head more.
That's true.
Takeaways: when you get knocked down, get back up. No big deal, and stop looking at anyone else.
Hey, stop comparing yourself.
Yeah. I feel like I tell my kids the same thing. Exactly. It's so wrong.
Turns out it applies here too.
Yeah, I know. We talk about that all the time. We teach our kids lessons, and like, we don't take them. Like, I'm like, I want to remind people of the golden rule every now and then. Just treat others like you want to be treated. That might be nice.
That works for business too.
Yeah, it works with everything. Anyway. All right, cool. No, I this was fun. It was a fun bounce back. Like last time after we recorded that last one, I was like, God, that time did suck.
Yeah, it did.
So, but this is nice kind of bounce back. So,
yeah.
Cool. We'll wrap this one up, and then we'll jump to the next step, which is the warehouse.
Oh, the warehouse.
Anyway, we'll jump to that next.
Sounds good.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Next time on the drill down, they buy a well, but it's at the beach. And